So again, this is the Book Dash Community Share Out. The first one, we have worked with about 20 people in the last 4 days in different sessions. It has been really, really amazing, not just working on the guide for the reproducibility, collaboration, communication, project design, and ethics, which is obviously a lot, but we also made time to share about communication, what visualization looks like, and Ariel ran a wonderful session on activism yesterday, and we did lots of illustrations. And at the end of this call, we'll also go through these illustrations as a sneak preview. So what to expect today? We would ask you some of the questions. We would try to open the call a lot for discussions. And in between, we will have a demo session. And these demo session would be about everybody who has contributed to the Turing Way will be given the mic. They will be able to share their screen, show us what they're working on, invite contribution from others, ask for help where they felt stuck. Or just let us know what you're very happy about. How did this all go for you in the last 4 days, but also beyond that? So I'll be co-hosting with Emma and Kirsty. I'll also go through the screen so everybody has a chance to introduce themselves. You can let me know in the chat if you would not like to speak, and you can leave it in the chat, and that would be great for us. So with that, let me start with Emma.
So hello, I'm Emma, and I've been helping with the Book Dash this week. I think it's been a fabulous week, and I've really enjoyed just getting to know different people, such as Marta, who I've been contacting a lot on. We've been having a lot of conversations on Slack, so it's actually been really nice to work with her this week. I've really enjoyed that, and also Maria. And so that's who I've actually thanked, because they've helped me a lot with the writing that I've been doing, and we've managed to sort of get that in a decent format. So it's actually in GitHub now, and it can be edited by some other people. So that's wonderful. But yeah, we've had some really great discussions about all sorts of different aspects of the book, and also other issues to do with reproducible research. And like Malvika said, the wonderful Scriberia artist or illustrator, Sophia, who's made some wonderful illustrations. Yeah. Thanks, Malvika.
Thank you, Emma. So I also realized that I never introduced myself. I'm Malvika Sharan. I am the community manager of the project, the Turing Way, and I've been sharing the Book Dash with the planning committee, who did lots of work, and I could sit back and enjoy my time of working with everybody and collaborate, which is always a pleasure. And with that, I'm going to pass it to Kirsty.
So I did even less, even less work, and sat back even further and enjoyed everyone's contributions. So my name's Kirsty. I lead a program at the Alan Turing Institute called Tools, Practices and Systems. And I also sort of created the Turing Way, and I used to say that I led the Turing Way, but I think really Malvika and so many others are taking over so much of that responsibility that it's starting to get to the point that we were really hoping for, which was that it was a shared ownership project, and that we were able to kind of retire me. I don't think I'm totally retired just yet, but I'm delighted that so many people are taking over so much of the leadership of the project. I'm really grateful for that. Yeah, I care an awful lot about reproducible research, open source software development, and building a culture inside of academic research that makes people feel valued for the expertise that they have, and appreciated for helping others rather than competitively trying to be better than other people around them. So this was a beautiful week to demonstrate what that could look like.
Thank you, Kirsty. Ariel.
Hello everyone, I'm Ariel. I'm the research project manager at the Tools, Practices and Systems program at the Alan Turing Institute. My mum, Pam, is also around and about the place, so she's running back. This is my mum, who has listened to me go on about the work this week. I am incredibly grateful and thankful for everybody who's shown up this week. I started trying to list people in the icebreaker and then realized I was going to list everybody I talked to or interacted with. So I did say everyone, but everyone has really shown up this week with enthusiasm and skills and wisdom and thoughtfulness and kindness. And that I think has made it a really awesome week. So I'm excited to see everyone in this community shout out.
Thank you, Ariel and Mom Pam. Aida.
Hi, so I'm Aida. I work in TPS, which is the theme or program led by Kirsty, who's just spoken a minute ago. And my job title is Research Application Manager. It's a role with some similarities to the community manager role, but it's sort of outward facing and sort of designed in order to help researchers interact with users kind of more easily and more frequently and create outputs with users of those outputs in mind. So it's an innovative role and kind of creating it as we go. Having said that, I use the Turing Way kind of as my pretty much ultimate resource in this job right now, because it's got a lot of the stuff that I'm sort of talking about to researchers. And as slowly as I ramp up talking to more users, I think it'll be very valuable. And so for me, as someone who's not really contributed to like the open source projects in the past, this has been a really nice way to kind of dig in and just like start writing. It's not like my normal process to just do these collaborative weeks, co-working weeks, and contribute to a distributed open source project. So it's been a really good deep dive. And yeah, it's lovely. It's been lovely getting to know some of you who I haven't met before, and great, looking forward to working more together.
Thank you, Aida. Laura. I think Laura is frozen.
Hi, everybody. I'm Laura. Oh dear. Can you hear me now?
You're okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'm Laura. I have.
Oh, we lost you. Okay, I'm gonna move.
So I've been having internet issues.
Laura, yeah, you can. We'll come back to you. Right, I'm gonna then move to Nina.
Hello. I might have the same problem as Laura, so like wave at me if I start breaking up. My name's Nina. I'm a PhD student at the University of Bristol, and this week this is my first time contributing, really, and also probably my first time contributing to like a big open source project. So it's been really exciting, and everyone has been so super nice, really, really helpful. And when I've looked confused, people have been like, "Are you confused?" And I said yes, and then they've helped me, which has been really, really, I'm very grateful for that. And yeah, so I also did the same thing as Ariel. I tried to list everybody, so I kind of ended up listing a load of people, but I've probably missed people because of that. So I'm just very grateful for everyone who's helped, and everyone's had really interesting conversations this week with me about stuff that I was working on, which was trying to think of how we could do a self-reflection guide for data scientists who might not do or might not have been introduced to self-reflection as like a tool as part of their training, but it could be a really useful tool for people, especially if you're thinking about ethical dilemmas and how your identity and who you are feeds into the way you approach ethical problems or research in ethically questionable places, but also like how you think about the teams that you work in and the communities that you're affecting with your research. So we've had lots of really cool chats about that this week. So that's me.
Thank you, Nina. Becky.
Hi, I'm Becky. I'm a PhD student at King's College London and an engaged student at the Alan Turing Institute, so kind of a research placement based there. And this week I've been working mainly with Hannah and Andrea on a particular section, which I think we'll be going through later, and also learning from other people here. which kind of leads me on to just kind of being thankful for everyone, really, for just being really kind and helpful, and just it being a really nice atmosphere where it's just been really easy to kind of learn and get to know others. So yeah, it's been a really, really lovely week. So thank you to everyone. I think that was everything. Yeah.
Thanks, Becky. Ali.
Hey guys, I'm Ali. I'm currently working in kind of journalism as an editor for a sports media company. But before that, I recently graduated studying digital humanities and doing history in my undergraduate. So I came to the Book Dash because I've just been really curious about kind of the data science community, and especially like reproducible research and things like that, because I don't really know much about it, but I'm very curious to learn more. And it's been an amazing week. I'm really grateful for everyone who's been so forthcoming and so kind and listening to like all the people speak and all their contributions, and to Movika in particular for kind of guiding me through the week and answering my never-ending questions, and getting to learn more about how this thriving and fascinating community runs. So yeah, it's been amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, Ali. Hannah.
Hi everyone, I'm Hannah. I'm a PhD student at Queen Mary University of London. And I'm also, like Becky, I'm going to probably echo a lot of what Becky said, an engaged Turing student. I'm working, or I have been working in a team of myself, Becky and Andrea. Yeah, and so with the Book Dash, we've been looking at reproducibility and looking at particularly revamping one of the chapters, the research compendia chapter. Yeah, and it's just been a really fun week for me to learn, and also I'm really thankful for learning from everyone's different experiences, looking at how to contribute to the Book Dash, how to support others when they contribute to the Book Dash, all these different aspects of reproducible research, and actually just more generally speaking, how to collaborate well in a group and a wider group and sort of have this really good dialogue that is ongoing throughout the week. Has been a really fun thing to be a part of. So I'm grateful for everyone here very much. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Hannah. Lottie.
Hi everyone, I'm Lottie. I'm currently the community manager for the ArtSpaces project. I've come over from the civil service for 6 months working at the Turing Institute. So I found out the Turing Way and the Book Dash through Kirsty, who line manages me. So it's been a really good week. I feel like I've come from an area that I'm not much knowledge of kind of research and open science and things like that. So I feel like the week has been like really good for me to understand a bit more about that. And then also I'm really grateful for everyone, because it's like a big group effort of like creating an inclusive like environment and supportive, that like I felt more confident to like get involved with conversations about research and open science and stuff. So it's been really good. So I'm grateful and thankful for everyone for that.
Thank you, Lottie. Andrea.
Good morning, and apologize for my background noise. So I'm Andrea. I'm a PhD student at the University of Manchester, and I work with Becky and Hannah. So I'm the last of the trio. I won't repeat everything they said. Everything is true. They didn't lie with anything. But I just want to say that it's been an amazing week. Definitely something that I didn't expect, because I got some bad news. I didn't really see them coming this week. And then the community and the Zoom chats and the meetings and the talks I had with Ariel, Malvika, Emma, and everyone else that is in the meeting really, really helped, especially in this atmosphere with the COVID situation. So thank you all.
Thanks, Andrea. Esther.
Hi all, I'm Esther. I'm a data steward in the Netherlands at the Delft University of Technology. I have been contributing to the Turing Way before and was involved in organizing, and I wasn't that much present this week as I hoped I could be, but I'm super grateful for everyone who I did speak to this week. It was a quite hectic week for me, but I never felt like it was hectic when I logged in here. So I'm super grateful for that. And thank you for really all of your contributions, insights, and thank you.
Thanks, Esther. I'm going to read Laura's because I know she was she would have introduced herself if her internet was working. So Laura is a PhD student at the University of Essex and was one of the people who helped organize this week. And she's thankful for everyone who put up with her dodgy internet this week. Despite connectivity problems, she had some really awesome conversation with new and old contributors, particularly Ariel on activism, Nina on self-reflection, and Esther on data sharing. And it's been a lovely week to work alongside all of you this week. And we have Robin.
Hi, I'm Robin. I used to work in insurance and risk management and model governance until I early retired about 9 years ago now. And the greatest frustration of my working life, I think, was not having access to the open source tool stack that's widespread now. And equally, I think, not having access to this sort of thing, because the Turing way is the answer to most of my frustrations back in working life. All of the things about reproducibility and working together and documentation, it all applies equally, I think, in things where for data protection reasons and commercial reasons, you're not going public. But if you want your model to be right and work, or right's the wrong word, if you want your model to be useful and work, all of these things are incredibly useful. So that's why I got interested.
Thank you, Robin. I think that's definitely something we need to work a bit more on, that we definitely need those examples of how these practices work, also not in open source format, and it's useful. Thank you, everyone. Is that okay to pass it to you, Emma?
Yeah, that's fine. I was just going to go in the order that's on the index. So I'll if you haven't seen that, I'll go in that order. So that means that Ariel would be first. So is it okay with you?
Second, I just need to make sure that I've got.
I should say Ariel and Pam, shouldn't I? Sorry.
Okay. Oh no, I wanted that. Okay. Yes. I will share my screen. So this week I've kind of been half and half on a few different things. So one part of this week has been focused on helping everyone who is new to GitHub or less familiar with GitHub find their way around, review some PRs, make their first PRs, make their first contribution. And one of the first things I got to do, if I can find it, yes, is help somebody who couldn't make the book dash actually, but could. We had some great chats about unionization. He's interested in the activism chapter, and I'm very proud that I mentored somebody called Bruno, who's not here yet, to add extra unions from France, Italy, and Spain to our growing list of unions that would be suitable for scientists to join in different countries. Because when this activism chapter was first released, it was very UK and US focused, and so now we have some more in France, Italy, and Spain. And so my first thing is, if you are from a country that does not have any unions listed here for scientists, and you know of unions that scientists could join in your country or countries you have worked in, please do add to the list. That would be a really nice, if you're not sure about contributing, that'd be a really nice extra bit of content to add. And the other thing that I wanted to show on the activism section of the workbook of the Guide for Ethical Research is that I this week split out the case study of Google workers into its own subchapter. So now you can read the story of Google workers who have been organizing and standing up to what they believe to be unethical practices in Google through advocacy and workplace activism across the years. And that's culminated in the Alphabet Workers Union that was launched actually in January 2021. So you can read some of that story there. And the call for more case studies of the call for contributions here is more case studies of activism and advocacy. And as I mentioned last night, if you have an example of where you put forward a case for more funding for something, or better practices around event organization, for example, in your organization or community or workplace, then writing it up as a case study would be super useful. I would love to have some, like, you know, various different examples of activism and advocacy that can be, because they can be quite small. So those were the big thing, and I'd like to thank everybody who also went through and did a lot of feedback and stuff on the writing that we did for this case study. That was really awesome. And then the other thing that I've been working on this week is new share. Hopefully I can get this. Is starting to think about a chapter, and it's called a community managers chapter, but actually we're hoping that this will become a research infrastructure roles chapter that covers so many of the people in this in this share out, where we are contributing to the work and the labor that goes into not only conducting research, but also the support work that goes on around the research and the implementation and impact of research as well. So that's people like project managers, which I am, community managers, we have several of, Ida in her research application manager role. We want to kind of highlight these less stereotypical aspects of research and the interactions between researchers and other people in a chapter, and kind of help people explore those roles a little more. So again, we have an issue open for it. There's ideas being collected in the HackMD here. We're going to draft this in the community manager chapter branch. And people have already been discussing this and sharing their ideas for it. So huge thanks to people who have already dropped by with their notes. And I know that this is going to be an awesome and ever expanding chapter as well. I can tell already. So again, if you have more thoughts on that, or you're interested, then do pop along to the issue. I know that we have lots of people here who have lots of expertise to share in that particular thing. And a huge shout out to everybody who has done their first PR, merged their first thing, managed to transfer stuff from HackMD to GitHub for the first time, has spent this week working really hard and stuff. It's been really good fun to work with everyone. So thank you.
Thanks, Ariel. I think, Ariel, you forgot to say that you did so much mentoring this week. That's what I saw you doing the whole week. When I was looking on GitHub, I saw your reviews of everything. So massive well done for doing all that work. That's really valuable. Let's give a virtual round of applause. Yay. Well done, Ariel. So next on the list here, I'm going to say, could Becky, Hannah and Andrea share what they've been doing this week? Is that okay? Can you just give me a thumbs up? Yep, I can see Becky's on it. Yep.
I dropped my computer on the floor on Tuesday. And since then it's going about 1/10 of the speed that it used to.
Everything all right, Becky?
Yeah, I'm just sorry, I'm just trying to navigate to it, but my computer is taking forever.
Okay.
Each bit.
Don't worry, we'll wait.
If Hannah or Andrea also have a workable link, then feel free to go for it.
you want us to give you a minute to find what you want? Yeah, okay. Oh no, there we go. Well done, Becky.
Can everyone see that okay?
Yeah, well done, go for it.
Yay. You might be able to hear the computer fan as well. I don't know, Hannah and Andrea, if you want to pipe in at any point. If you have anything you want to. I can't see any faces.
I can talk a bit if you want, because I'm happy to just go over what we've done. Yeah, so with this originally, essentially what we were looking at, there was a chapter in the Turing Way called the Research Compendia chapter, and so what we're looking to do here is sort of revamp or update that chapter, looking more specifically at how you design a repository. So looking to give information in this chapter, looking about how to best organize your research project, depending on what you might need, and also giving you, or hopefully empowering people to be able to understand that when they build a repository in particular, they have version control. So you sort of get this snapshots of your project over the course of the project's lifetime. And then that enables you and other researchers to better navigate through the project at different points in its lifetime, work on it in different places or snapshots in time. And so hopefully this chapter is looking to detail the benefits of that and how best to organize your project, looking at all the different folders you can include in a repository to be able to sort of reproducibly and transparently navigate your research. Yeah.
So we also worked with Sophie to make an image, which I think Malvika mentioned will be shared later. So there's an example structure here as well of the repo.
And I think that's wonderful work, because you've done that from scratch this week. So you've done like a whole section, haven't you? Just from, well, not from nothing, because we've been working a bit on it on the project we're working with together. But yeah, I think you've done an amazing job to get all that together and on GitHub, and we can see it all rendered, which is great. So well done. Does Andrea want to say anything? So I can't see you. Oh, where's Andrea? Andrea, do you want to say anything? Can't hear. Thank you. No. Okay, thanks very much. Let's give them a virtual round of applause.
I'm just going to add one thing.
Oh, sorry, Becky.
No, the previous Research Compendia chapter was very, very valuable. So it was, there was lots of incredible resources in there. So kind of like restructuring that made it really easy, because there was just, yeah, great information contained within there. So
yeah, and that's actually a really great example of like how we're trying to keep the Turing Way going forward, because we're always evolving into the new versions of what we've done before. So it isn't a static book, it's something that can keep changing. So I think that's a really good example of how we're doing that. Thank you very much, Hannah, Becky and Andrea.
Thank you.
So next up on my list is Lottie. I can see she's ready because she's smiling.
Yeah, I'm ready. I think mine will be a bit more of a verbal update, if that's okay. So
yeah, of course.
One of the things, so to start off with, I wanted to improve kind of like my GitHub skills. So I focused a little bit more on like adding some images and those good first issues that we had. My first couple always came back wrong, so I always had to update them a little bit. But then afterwards, I think my last one that I did was like absolutely fine, which is great. I'm quite proud of myself. And so I focused on that. And then one of the things I wanted to do, and I think was my goal, was to add a case study about road mapping from the ArcSpaces project. So I've drafted that. I uploaded an issue. I've drafted that. Malvika's had a little read over it. And then I'm going to put it into a pull request hopefully by today. So that's just a little bit on road mapping our project, how we're getting all the ideas together, the different milestones, how we're getting like the issues and the tasks for each of the milestones, and then the idea of how it's important to ensure that the roadmap is always updated and up to date in relation to how the project is going on. So there's a little bit about that and the case study, of which then I worked with Sophie, which was amazing to look at, get some images for the roadmap as well. And then also a bit on the mountain of engagement. Me and Ali had a session with Sophie on trying to get an image for that as well, which was really cool. I think I just really enjoyed those sessions with her. They were so cool, of just like, you just explain it and she'd be drawing it and getting it all done. And then like, it's just really good. So I'm excited to see like the end product of that. And then also Ariel as well on that community chapter, and kind of starting to brainstorm ideas of that. And I'm really excited to get that going as well and working on that in the future. So yes, that was my book batch.
All sounds wonderful. And you've also done so much. Let's give her a virtual round of applause. Great. Thanks so much, Lottie. Right, Laura is going to have a go.
We can try with me. I'll keep my video off, although
Yeah,
I feel like I should point out that I actually put earrings in today as was my contribution to dress up. So
Brilliant.
Please enjoy my imaginary earrings. So I helped a bit with organising the book batch. So in terms of supporting Maldita to get things set up, which is really interesting. I was a participant in the last book dash in November, so it was really, really great to be part of the organising side this time. Really fascinating, and I got to see exactly how much work goes into setting up this event. So huge round of applause to Maldita for coordinating it. I have mostly been battling with my internet this week, but I was able to have some really awesome conversations with some people who are developing some really fantastic content. So yeah, as Ariel discussed, we have the really awesome case study now, so my contribution to that was reviewing it. I also got to talk through some of the really fantastic ideas that Nina is having around self-reflection in data science and research more broadly, which, as a lot of you know, is something that I'm also really interested in. So I'm super excited that this is now going to be a part of the Turing Way. And yeah, I echo Lottie's like joy at working with the Scriberia artists. It's always like one of my favorite things to do. And so I got to support some of the illustrations, and there's also one in the pipeline, I think, around becoming an active union member. So one of the things that, as Ariel's already mentioned, we have a lot of material in the ethics book around being an active and activist researcher and changing research practices. And so we have hopefully a little illustration on how you can not only join the union, but be part of an active unionization effort, because unions are made of people and institutions are made of people. And that's how you make changes. You get the people to do the thing. So yeah, and it's been super fantastic to spend a bit more time with the contributors that I've already worked with, because we never really get enough time to work together, and also to meet some fantastic new people. And it's been really lovely. So yeah, I've had a really excellent week. So thank you to Kirsty and Maldita for overseeing it all, and to everybody for contributing. It's been fab. My earrings look great.
I'm sure they do. We saw them earlier, a quick glimpse of them. Let's give a round of applause. Well done to your internet for holding up as well in that bit. Brilliant. Thanks so much, Laura. And I always enjoy your birdie noise, because that's like my house, although it seems quiet today for some reason. Right, next up is, Esther. Are you able to share next? Maybe she's gone out for a minute. What about Ali?
I just walked away for making coffee, sorry.
Do you want to go now, or should I let Ali go next?
Yeah, no, I can go now.
I'll go then, Esther.
I'll keep it super, and sorry, you also messaged me. That's super thoughtful, but I missed it, sorry. Yeah, I'll keep it super short because unfortunately I didn't get to do as much as I wanted to do, but I'm going to accept that and just go with the flow. So this week I mainly worked on a little bit of text on how to combine your data and your codes and your publication when you're in the publication process, because that is a bit of a hassle, and once you do it, it's quite clear, but how to start doing it from the start can be a bit of a where do I start issue. So I've been trying to outline some options and hopefully made that a bit clearer. And thanks very much, Laura, for providing feedback on that. It's super appreciated. I think it improved it immensely, and I can hopefully finish it later today. And I'm just going to echo what everyone else said about the drawings. That was one of my favorite things this week. I helped drawing an image for data management plans, which I was really excited about because I'm the only person being excited about data management plans. So hopefully other people can start getting excited about it. So I really I'm looking forward to reuse that image a lot. And also an image on open data. And I see that Patricia wants to see the data management plan image. So hopefully we can show a version of that later. And otherwise, I'm sure you'll see it soon. And I helped guiding a discussion session shortly on time management, which I found very helpful to at least get off my chest. And I hope other people also found that helpful. And sort of thinking about maybe, could that be a chapter? But we'll come back to that later. And I think those were the main highlights points of my week, apart from the share out session, which was the most thoughtful online gathering this week for me. So if not this month or two, anyway, you know what I'm trying to say. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you, Esther. Let's give her a virtual round of applause. Yay. Next up then, Ali.
Cool. So I started my week as well, just trying to get a bit familiar with GitHub and just kind of adding images to pull requests and things like that. So that took me a bit of a while to get used to, but I managed to, I think, sort of get there in the end. So I was quite happy with that. And then after that, I've been quite interested, as I said earlier, in kind of like the community health, I guess, of the Turing Way. So I've been trying to build this kind of community health report, and I was just trying to get my head around how to do it best. So I've been working on this mountain of engagement, which basically tells the different stages of how people engage with the Turing Way, from the project leaders to the first-time visitors. And it's been really, really fascinating just kind of going through what's already on the site, speaking to people, seeing like what people gain from being part of the Turing Way at different levels, what's going well, what maybe could be improved. So yeah, I've been working on that and comparing it to kind of something else, which is the kind of the chaos metrics, where people have kind of thought about this a lot more deeply and before than I have. So kind of seeing what else I can kind of gain from that, and then kind of try to bring some of it together with Lottie when we sat with Sophie to do an illustration, which I completely agree was one of the coolest experiences I've ever been part of. She's sitting there drawing, it was amazing. So yeah, now it's given me a lot to kind of get my head around, and hopefully I can take it forward and go back to the OLS program, which I'm part of as well, and just, yeah, hopefully get a proper good community health report for the Turing Way soon. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much. That's so important work as well, Rusty, and lovely for having someone new coming in and looking at us. I think that's like a really good perspective to sort of do that sort of work from. Thank you so much. Oh, yeah, everyone's waving. I didn't like everyone's saying round of applause. Next up then is Nina.
Hello, everybody. Yeah, I accidentally went into this a little bit earlier. We've had a preview of what I was working on. But yeah, firstly to say that thank you to everybody who has contributed, because I've had so many cool conversations about this week. It's been so amazing. And this is really exciting for me because it's something I think about a lot. And then you don't realize other people think about things until you find the people who are thinking about it. And when you do, then that's really cool because you can have these great chats about stuff that you didn't realize other people were interested in, and that's really fun. And that's a really fun thing that I've taken out of this, is that there are so many people interested in so many amazing, diverse things to do with data science, which is awesome. So yeah, I kind of did a similar thing to Ali, in that I started the week by doing some kind of slightly random things on GitHub to try and get an idea of what was going on generally. And then had some great conversations with Laura and with Ismail, and also with Ariel, and probably other people too. And I'm really sorry I've forgotten conversations that I've had already. It feels like the beginning of the week, it's quite a long time ago now. And so basically we're working on this idea of how we can use self-reflection in data science, and so there's an issue open for it now. So if anyone has like ideas that they want to pin up there, or wants to like suggest some perspectives on that, we'll go onto the draft, which is on HackMD, which is linked there, and add comments, then please do. I think probably the hardest thing about this is working out the boundaries of it. So it's really easy to like go off on like a massive tangent and start talking about all these sorts of things, because it's quite a big topic in of itself. So I think the main thing that we'll need feedback on is just keeping it like focused enough that it's useful, but still useful without bringing in everything from all the other places that you could bring it in. So yeah, so we've got like some prompts that we started to think about like different areas of ways that we work as data scientists, like our research environments, like the people that we work with and the teams that we're part of. So even just really basic stuff like thinking about what's my identity and how does that relate to the other people in my team? Like, are there people, like really kind of things that sound simple, but maybe we don't spend enough time thinking about, like, what's the diversity of the team that I'm in? Have I really thought about that properly before? Do I understand why or why not there are certain people in my team, or what could I do differently to basically diversify the people that I talk to on a daily basis and make sure I'm getting input from different places and talking to different people. Ariel left some really good comments about data, like what kinds of data do you value? Like, are there types of data that you think are more interesting than others? Are there reasons that you think certain types of statistics are particularly convincing versus others? Like, what's that say about your background and the types of training that you've had, and how you value other people's work in relation to your own, that sort of thing, which is quite interesting. And yeah, there's loads of good and loads of avenues of that. So I'm going to stop there and just say, yeah, thank you to everyone who's had really interesting conversations about that. And please do leave comments or suggest things if you have extra thoughts on that, because that'd be really cool.
Thank you so much. Applause. Yay. Thanks so much, Nina. So, Ada, you're next.
Hi, so I think it's fair to say that I kind of did less than I thought I would this week, but also I wasn't feeling so great yesterday, so took a day off, but it's fine. I made a start on something that's not going to disappear. So I created an issue in the Turing way on a small chapter that I want to write, that I've started the outline for, on creating like the process. It's a kind of within project design, but it's specifically for designing research software toolkits. And so what I found myself in that process doing is like just going to check other stuff, because there's lots of stuff's going to be repeated and references. So for example, the personas and pathways, the open canvas, and kind of the roadmap. So what I ended up doing is kind of just going back to a lot of stuff that's been written in the project design already, and kind of reading through that and figuring out how I'm going to best reference it in this new subchapter. So what I ended up doing is then like, oh, then I think I got my first merge in the Turing way this week, in the process of correcting a typo in like the part of, I think it was like the personas subchapter. So that was good. And the illustration, I am so looking forward to see what it looks like. And what else has happened this week? Yeah, basically that's kind of the gist of it. So I'm just going to continue thinking about this chapter and kind of contributing slowly until it's in good shape.
Thank you. Sounds to me like you did a lot anyway. So I think everyone says they haven't done much, and actually you've explained you've done loads of things. So thank you so much. Round of applause. So I just messaged Kirsty to say, does she want to go next?
Yeah, I'm trying to live tweet. That's why I'm thinking like, there's so much going on. So I've got a Twitter thread going of everyone's various different updates. It's really beautiful. So yes, I can go next. So I'm going to share my screen. Here I go. I think yeah. So someone carry on without, am I back? I think carry on without me, my laptop's dying. It's on. Sorry,
okay.
sorry.
Kirsty, I can give you remote access to my computer if you want to.
No, it's the battery. So I just
right. Got
yeah,
it.
sorry.
Malvika, would you like to go next?
I would
Well,
go
you're
at
the
the
only
end.
other person. You
Oh,
are.
am I
That
the
is
only person?
Yeah.
All right. Oh yeah, I think I worked, like I really enjoyed the book dash because I ran it in November, and this was the first time we were trying it virtual, and it was so stressful because it was me and Kirsty spending 12 hours in front of a computer making sure that we were sharing everything. And this time I didn't have to do it because we had planning committee members who were chairing all the sessions. So I could just walk around in different rooms and talk to different people and work with them. So I really, really enjoyed it. I think I had like really great discussion with Andre, who's another attendee. We talked about risk management because our current risk management chapter sounds very software specific, and we were discussing how risk management just goes beyond software and that everybody is prone to it, and how we can make it more relatable, and also like emphasizing on the fact that risk management isn't about like having success all the way through, but to be prepared for some failures and how we cope with it. And that was really interesting. And we worked on a couple of sub-chapter structure. So we haven't probably written a lot, but it was really about understanding how it would look like in the future. And he's really interested in collecting your personal story of risk management, because I think those case study would be really valuable. So that would be one ask that I could probably make on behalf of Andre today. Another thing that I worked on is a project design overview chapter. And I think I found it so interesting that I kind of spent probably a day and a half just working on it. It was with Mariana Vivas, and Mariana worked on how best we can get someone started. So the problem with the current Turing Way is not problem. It's really amazing that we have 150 subchapters, but it's also 150 subchapters. And where do I start? So what she did is she curated some of the important principles and practices that we want people to consider before they get started or before they feel super lost in the Turing Way. I can try to show you the preview. I'm really proud of this one, and she has done an incredible job. She wasn't sure, and I think this is why it's so great to co-work and collaborate, because you can emphasize that you've done a lot and it is amazing. So I'm really proud of this one. So basically showing it because I think Mariana should know that this is great. So as you see, we have like loads of stuff, a lot of chapters, and probably nobody's going to read it from starting to end. So we have now this overview of project design. And what this project design overview says is setting the scene for what you should get started with, and with a big disclaimer that we don't link to all the subchapters, it's just curation. There's a chapter on how to get started with planning, and she's gonna add, she added already, the ethical and legal approval aspect. We also had run a workshop a few months back with Emma and Batul, and we had interesting contribution from the participants. So I had this really bizarre feeling of working with contributors from the past. So we have like a whole subchapter summarizing that note. And I really snuck in one of one of the book that I was reading, which says building takes many, many mistakes, where how we can learn from a mistake when we're designing for project design. And there you can learn about reproducibility methods, and these are specifically linked to minimal number of chapters, going to the version control and documentation, and finally sharing your work. So probably this is something that I think is one of my intensive contribution. Beside that, I also helped with GitHub conflicts. There were always conflicts, and it's really great fun to conflict correct. Yeah, I just am really thankful. I had such a joyful time. I did not feel tired at all. I was just really excited every day. So thanks to the planning committee for making me enjoy this whole time.
Thanks to you, Malvika. You did so much planning beforehand, so you did all the work. And I say thank you for resolving my conflict today as well. So, Kirsty.
Let's try that again. Malvika did fix so many GitHub conflicts, including in this pull request that I'm now going to share my screen. Share my screen to show you all. So here we go. So this issue number 696 was opened in September of 2019 at an event that I ran, where we mentored people to do their first pull requests, and they sort of got to a point where they had, each of these different teams had written about a different barrier for reproducibility, which is part of a talk that I've probably been giving. I've had a slide on that in my talks probably since 2015. And then it just sort of didn't get merged, Kirsty. And then there was a massive update to the Jupyter book, which meant that the whole work was like completely out of sync. And a couple of months ago at a collaboration cafe, I did a decent amount of work sort of actually getting the text all together and writing it all out and making sure that it sort of flowed as one chapter, updating it in. But then, you know, then there were other meetings in various different places. And so I was really, really glad that the beginning part of this week, I was able to open up the preview, and I can go to reproducible research and click on overview. So there's now a chapter here for, we have one on definitions of reproducible research, one on added advantages, so reasons that you should do reproducible research, and then now we have this one to barriers to reproducibility, and we have these various different barriers of limited incentives, publication biases, you might be held to higher standards than others, that there are challenges related to potentially reproducibility is not the end goal, that actually doing really high quality science is in fact the end goal. Sometimes it takes time, but actually that time you can probably recoup back, and that it requires additional skills. And so I was really glad to be able to end this chapter sort of talking about the fact that this is exactly what the Turing Way is here to support everyone. So this became a really big pull request, and one of the reasons that it's not merged is that I, because I haven't contributed in a long time, well, I contribute, but not in ways that are visible on GitHub. I also didn't know how to write things in the various different styles, and so I did some good work figuring out and updating the guidance for adding figures. So we have some really lovely examples in here of how you can add a figure, what it looks like if it doesn't work, what it looks like if there's a problem. That's what sort of some of the importance of alternative text, and also how you can sort of define the captions and things like that. So, and the RoboDebt image is the reason we have a capital letter and lowercase letter version of that file that has upset my Windows computer to no end. But I think with Brigitta's work during the latter half of the book dash, we've figured out a process to avoid those conflicts in the future. And I think Malvika was doing a final review. I asked her to do that at 10 to 11. So I think it's probably okay that it's not completely finished just yet, but maybe by the 5 o'clock share out, we might be able to have merged that chapter, which has been in the making potentially since the literal genesis of the project, but certainly in the making since 2019. So I'm really
you can basically merge it live.
We're going to do it live. This just
Why
seems
not?
so many levels of complete disaster, but let's try it. Let's try it. Okay, so here we go. So ready to review. So I'm just going to very quickly scroll for everyone to see what my sort of various different commit messages look like of finding various problems. Ariel did a great review, caught some sort of inaccessible language that I think was a really good point that we then went back and fixed, did some fixing around formatting, did, what's this in here? A million other edits around here, renamed the robo.duck figure, deleted the robo.duck figure, synced the branch, fixed a bunch of different fixed the grammar, fixed some of the sort of clarifying the different points in there in the review from Malvika. Keep on going, keep on going. Here's Brigitte coming in and finally being able to figure out some of the updates, fixing a big merge conflict. I don't show this to sort of try and emphasize how hard it is. I'm showing this to try and emphasize how unbelievably common it is to get into a Git mess and hopefully normalize this feeling of getting into a bit of a confusion. And all checks are passing, and Malvika has given me an approving review. So dun, 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 dun. Merge. Oh, here we go. Merge. Yes, there it is. So it's in. So now if we go all the way up to code, the book, we're in the master branch here, website, reproducible research, overview, and barriers. And there it is. And so we've got that in. So thanks everyone. That's a big celebration for me.
I think we need an extra round of applause for that. Yay.
Also, Kirsty spent a lot of time brainstorming and organizing the guide for collaboration because we have massive number of chapters, but they don't really make sense currently in the flow they are in. So I'm really glad that that's going to happen.
Are you going to take over now, Malvika?
I will take over. Yes, Emma. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I think it really hurts me that I don't give you the image access already because you're so excited about it. But I also feel like let's keep the suspense for once. We will be releasing the images very soon. But because we've been here for like an hour, I think it makes sense to take like a 5 minutes break and come back. Take a break, walk around, get yourself a coffee or tea. I'm going to heat my coffee for the third time, and I'll see you in 5 minutes.